how do we love people when we disagree? Love is easy for me to give when people love me first, or when I immediately know they love me back. It's natural, effortless even. The endorphins that go off in my brain when someone tells me they love me or when they show me how much they love me, that propels me into more love. And if we think of it more on a neighborly basis, when I agree with my coworker or my neighbor or my family member, it takes less effort. The feelings around agreement, I think, are similar to those around love. We feel good when our work, our beliefs, our opinions are affirmed or confirmed by other people. So I think if someone asked me, how do I love people when I agree with them? I'd say it's simple. But how do I love someone when we disagree? Culture might tell us we should cut them off completely. We should cancel, unfollow them, maybe even use our influence to have other people do the same. But when I read the Bible, I just can't ignore the fact that it says something different. Again and again, we hear that love, even when it's hard, is the answer in all sorts of situations. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, Matthew 5:44. The greatest commandment is this, Jesus says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. And the second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these, Mark 12. After Jesus had died, when his earlier followers were trying to figure out what it meant to live in Jesus-following communities, they talked a lot about love also. In Romans 12, Paul writes about love being sincere. Then there are all those verses from 1 Corinthians 13 that we hear at so many weddings. Love is patient and kind. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. Love never ends. Yeah, that sounds nice. And that's easy when we all get along with one another. But how do we practically love people when we disagree with them? Well, today I want to suggest just one thing we could try to work to love people we disagree with. Start by doing this, by remembering your story. If you're like me, when I look in the mirror, sometimes all I see is the gray hairs and the wrinkles. I see all the physical things that make me wish, if, let's be honest, I was somebody else. But what is your story behind those wrinkles? What stories has God woven throughout your life? Maybe on your good days, it's something like your quality of being able to problem solve, or your quick-witted sense of humor that lightens up a situation. Or if you're honest, maybe there's part of your story that involves some pain. You've experienced loss recently, and so right now you look in the mirror and you see someone who is really sad, trying to figure out what life looks like without a loved one. Your story matters, and it makes you you. Your story has shaped you throughout your life, the rosy parts and the hard parts. And guess what? The story of that person you disagree with, it makes them them. So start with a nudge to learn someone's story. Try it. What's the story that makes them them? And remember, it may not lead to instant understanding or immediate love, but it's a start. And love has to start somewhere.